Hi, Lopa. Welcome to Give Me 10. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Juhi, for inviting me to this forum. It's
I'm
really
so
my
happy.
honor.
I'm so happy that you agreed. Lopa, I won't waste any more time. I'll introduce you for our listeners today. So, this is Lopamudra Banerjee. She's a CHRO and she's been an executive coach. And Lopa, I'll jump into the first question. So, I've been seeing a lot of your LinkedIn posts, and you've been talking a lot on building a culture of supporting each other. So what I want
Right.
to ask you is this your focus these days? And if it is, then why?
Sure. So I think, Juhi, it's always been a focus. It's not just a support these days, because I do feel that in today's hyper competitive world, uh, this whole environment of uh, needing and wanting to support each other is something that needs to be instilled early on. And I personally believe that it needs to be instilled, by the time people come into corporate, I think it's late. I think it really should be instilled on even amongst the youngsters, going to school. I think it should just be a part of one's DNA. The idea is, how do we create a conducive ecosystem wherever you're operating, so that people are looking out for each other, supporting each other, and basically ensuring that everybody can move forward. And thereafter, of course, everybody grows at their own pace. But to have an environment where that is not encouraged, I think is very toxic. So I think for me, that's personally been a focus for a very, very long time. And I think being a CHRO and being a part of the leadership team gives me that opportunity to, um, work towards ensuring that in my own organization, collectively, we provide that kind of a system. So I think everybody there has a high level of trust, a high level of empathy, and then they're looking out for each other, they're supporting each other, they're ensuring that any kind of help that is required is provided. That has been a focus area for us, in Carrier Media, that we provide that kind of an environment. And the leadership team, of course, has to act as a role model in that whole process. It Something like this has to be a top down thing. So that is one aspect. And I think outside of the workplace, an area that I specifically try and focus on is on mentoring. So I'm associated with a lot of, business schools where I mentor their students. And my experience has been that, a lot of these students come from different backgrounds. Okay. But all of them, absolutely all of them without exception, have great potential. And it's just that they need the right support, uh, and that push, and somebody to give them a little bit of confidence and inspiration at the right time that helps them to blossom. And I think that during my mentoring exercise, I just feel that, yes, that's a great thing. And, then they go on and grow on to be great leaders in organizations. I've mentored so many youngsters who are now middle managers and doing exactly the same thing for their juniors. So it's also a cycle, I feel, where you're just able to pass that on. So yes. So I think these are the two ways in which I'm trying to focus on it. Um, and I personally feel, Juhi, that it's a great opportunity to make a difference. Um, Absolutely. I mean, when you walk that journey with somebody else, either through mentoring or while you're providing that support in the organization, you can actually see the difference, that you've made. And when you have had the opportunities, why not, pass them on to somebody? Thirdly, it forces me in some ways to look at things from the other person's perspective, right? Because I'm trying to guide their journey with their, maybe with the resources available to them, or maybe with the constraints available to them, and to make the best of that situation. So you have to put yourself in their shoes, look at things from their perspective, and then walk the path with them. So it just pushes me to think differently. And last but not the least, I think this whole process has helped me to, just feel more grateful. And then when you're trying to provide a supportive, caring environment for somebody who's not in the same space, then you realize that everything that you take for granted is everything that you need to be so much more thankful for. So I think it's also opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Next question. You've said so much, Lopa, and then you've spoke about gratitude. So obviously, I mean, there's so much, and I'm sure 10 minutes are not enough to cover everything. But any one experience that changed your perspective, or were you always focusing on others?
Uh, Maybe a little bit of, who intrinsically I am um, has been like that. And not with a clear focus. I think definitely when I was much younger, I didn't have this kind of a sharp focus that no, I need to do this. It came in, bits and pieces. But one definite thing, Juhi, very early on in my career, um, that helped me see what a difference it can make was my own experience. After so many years of being in HR, I can today share openly that I actually stumbled into HR. I was not looking to be an HR professional. I was, in fact, studying to be a civil servant. Okay. And I studied history because I wanted to join the bureaucracy. But then Mandal Commission happened. I got completely put off, and I decided that no, that's not where I want to be. I saw an ad in the paper about, an opening and in EY, and I went in for the interview, and the rest, as they say, is history. But the experience that I'm talking about was simply amazing because here I was, somebody who had done their master's in history with no focus in HR at all, walking into a part of an organization that was HR consulting, where all my peers and colleagues came from the best institutes in the country, having done their MBAs from the IIMs and the XLRIs, etc. But from day one, I walked into this environment that was caring. Everybody who worked with me on different projects in the first few months literally held my hand and made sure that I succeeded. And some of them today are my closest friends and my best friends. And I think that helped me to see that, and I just feel that if that had not happened, I may not, one is I may not have been in HR. I may also have been a different kind of person. That experience otherwise may have left me, bitter. I would have probably viewed corporate world differently. And I can't be more thankful because, like I'm saying, if it had been any different, I think my whole experience, my whole perspective on this would have been completely different.
The last question, any one advice for other organizational leaders to build a similar culture within their organizations?
Yeah, I think one thing that really works where, works as a glue for creating a supporting environment in my mind is where leaders can connect people to a common purpose in the organization. So if everybody can see the purpose of the organization, can visit their vision and mission statement, understand what it stands for, people will automatically, collaborate and create that trusting, empathetic environment. There has to be high levels of trust and high levels of empathy. And the leaders have to take intentional actions um, and show how this can be done on an everyday basis. That would mean visiting the core values. That would mean revisiting the vision mission statements. And that would mean that, being a role model. But that purpose is what can really connect everybody together in an organization where everybody feels that it's okay to support because again we are in this together. That's then basically the message that goes out. So I think as leaders, that's where we need to focus.
Brilliant. I can continue talking to you and I can continue listening to you for hours. But, thank you so much, Lopa, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Juhi. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.